As you probably know, people still associate China being cheap products.
Well, no, it's never been about whether something's cheap. You know, it's a really interesting topic, and you know, I can talk about this, you know, till the cows come home. It has some other notable influences on LinkedIn. I'm going to mention a name here, Sean Rain. Thank you, Sean, because your book about the end of cheap China is fantastic. Are products from China cheap is the question, I think, Lee. Is that right?
I think so. I mean,
yeah.
From my experience, I see China becoming more and more expensive.
Yes.
And I believe that most people associate China being cheap. Okay. The difference is that China manufacture cheaper than anywhere else in the world, just by the sheer scale of things.
Yes.
So I can understand when people might think, oh, China's cheap. It's cheaper to produce it here.
Yes.
Doesn't mean the products are cheap. That's the difference.
Yes, it's relative, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I guess the point that I'd like to add to what Lee's just said is, you know, things can be cheap, but maybe the question you should ask yourself as a company back home is, do you want cheap products? You know, I think invariably the answer would be is no. You want products that are of quality that align with your buyer or your consumer's expectations, and you need to match that up with a supplier in China that gives you the quality and the price point that you're satisfied with. It's not about whether it's cheap, it's about whether the price is right for the quality that you're after. And if you want to buy, let's say, phone cases, you know, do you want to buy the cheapest, nastiest phone case for the lowest possible price, or do you want to buy one that's of some degree of quality that's going to last? Therefore, what is the price point that you want to pay? How are you going to find that supplier? Because they do exist in all grades of product quality, all grades of prices.
The other thing I'd like to discuss is that can business be done, all right, in China in 2 weeks?
Most definitely not. Most definitely not.
It is virtually impossible, to be fair.
Not if you want a quality outcome.
Yeah.
If you want a sustainable long-term solution from China with a factory or any kind of entity here, you cannot achieve it in 2 weeks.
If you want to do business in China, okay, the Chinese have a saying, let's be friends first, we do business after. And that is important to understand that. Very important. It's simple, all right? In the Western world, business is fast, you can sign a deal in 45 minutes, job done. It doesn't happen here, all right? You've got to build up that trust. The Chinese feel they only want to trust you, okay, as much as you want to trust them, okay? So there's lots of tricks of the trade. All right. In order to be successful in China, you really need to understand the whole concept of doing business in China. And I can assure you, most businesses aren't done in a meeting room or boardroom. They're normally done in a tea house or in a restaurant.
Yes.
In some cases in a KTV. Jobs are sealed that way. And it's important to know your supplier and get to know the supplier. China is not short term. It's a long-term strategy. So don't use China as, I want to buy this and go, all right? Build relationships. That is a very important idea and concept that you must try to drum into your head, that China is open for business and there's a lot of business to be done.
Nothing to lose, far away, ricochet, you take your aim, far